Hey traders, Mike Sir here. Have you had this experience before where you're trading your demo account or your fake money account and you're just randomly testing the trading platform by pushing buy and sell buttons? Then you decide for the fun of it to buy a crazy big position in a stock and you see the stock go up in your favor, so you push even more buy buttons and then suddenly you see your account balance and you've made a nice profit on the trade. Now you're thinking, well, wouldn't it be nice that if that profit was in a real live account? Where apparently a trader in France mistakenly traded in his live account instead of his demo account and managed to make over $11.6 million in profits. So in this video, I'm going to share with you more details of the story of a newbie trader named Harouna Traoré who made millions by accident and tell you exactly what you can learn from this incident. So in 2017, Harouna was taking a training class in Paris to learn how to day trade equity futures. And once he finished the course, he decided to open an account with the UK brokerage firm Valbury Capital. He then proceeded to wire the broker 20,000 euros. And a few weeks later, he began utilizing the broker's trading platform at home and trying some things out with simulated demo trading. A short time later, he ended up having a trade position of more than 1 billion euros in European stock futures. Then came the shocking revelation that his trades were actually live and not from his simulated demo account. Now by that time, and worst of all, he saw that his account was down more than 1 million euros from these trades. He was in total shock and disbelief on how this had happened to him and how he could have unrealized loss of 1 million euros when he opened an account with only 20,000 euros. Now at this point, Harouna was very stressed and could only think of what would happen to him and his family. Then he made the decision to keep trading rather than stop. He pivoted to trading US stock futures instead and ended up building a position even larger than his European stock futures position, to the tune of over $5 billion, 5 times more than his European stock futures position. Whether it was due to his aggressive trading approach or the fact that he got lucky, but his US stock futures position skyrocketed in value, and in the end, he managed to turn his 1 million euros unrealized loss into a profit of over 10 million euros or $11.6 million. Obviously relieved at this point, he stopped trading and calls his broker a few days later to try to cash out on his profits. Now this was when things turned sour for him. The broker Valbury Capital was obviously not too happy with what had transpired and said that he went against the terms of his brokerage contract and deemed his trades void and cancelled. Harouna's account was actually meant to be limited to only 10 contracts per day, but somehow due to some technical error, he was able to buy over 40,976 S&P 500 futures contracts worth over $5.3 billion, and also 34,388 Euro Stoxx 50 futures contracts worth over 1.2 billion euros. In total, he was able to accumulate a trading position worth over $6.5 billion with only a 20,000 euro account. And this was the main reason why he initially thought that he was trading on a practice platform where trading limits did not apply, rather than, as it turned out, a live trading account. Now, Valbury Capital refused to pay him, and this forced Harouna to sue them for the millions of dollars in profits they now had due to his trades. Before I share the details of the trade, please take a moment to like this video. I would really appreciate your support. Okay, let's analyze and break down the trade that Harouna made. First off, he was trading 2 types of equity futures contracts. One was the Euro Stoxx 50 futures, which is a futures contract that tracks the performance of the 50 largest companies within the Eurozone. The other was the E-mini S&P 500 futures, which is a futures contract that tracks the performance of 500 of the largest publicly traded companies in the US. The E-mini part means that he was trading a smaller size contract, which is 1/5 the value of a standard S&P 500 futures contract. Now let's take a look at the charts. So on June 29, 2017, Harouna manually executed numerous trades in the Euro Stoxx 50 futures contracts and bought a total of 34,388 contracts. So this is a chart of the Euro Stoxx 50 index, and specifically June 29, 2017 is basically right here. So you can see on that day, the index was falling very, very sharply. And what we can assume is that Harouna was basically buying as it went even lower. So he bought more, bought more, bought more, bought more. So it's essentially he kept accumulating a total of 34,388 contracts. And basically, because the value of the index was falling, this was the reason why he accumulated unrealized loss of over 1 million euros. So probably before it hit the bottom right here, he essentially had stopped trading. Then on the same day, June 29, 2017, Harouna started trading the E-mini S&P futures contracts instead and established a long position of 40,976 contracts. So here you can see a chart of the S&P 500 index. So essentially June 29th was basically right here. It was moving in the same direction as the Euro Stoxx 50 futures contracts, essentially going down. And as it was going down, essentially Harouna was accumulating, buying more and more and more futures contracts to a tune of almost 41,000 futures contracts. And you can see here, this is a green bar here. This is when the price reversed. And this is one of the main reasons why he was able to offset the 1 million euro loss into essentially making over $11.6 million in total profits. The lawsuit against Valbury Capital is still pending, but in 2020, the company decided to shut down its UK operations and explained that the profit of 10 million euros in 2017 was a result of its own hedging activity rather than from Harouna's profits. Now, as for Harouna in 2020 as well, the CME Group, which offers the trading of the S&P 500 futures contracts, they issued him a disciplinary notice for committing an act which was detrimental to the interests or welfare of the exchange. And they ordered Harouna to pay a $10,000 fine and serve a 2-year suspension from access to any trading floor owned or controlled by the CME Group. Here are some lessons you can learn from this. Now, the first lesson is the big difference between trading a demo account versus trading a live account. Now, I've seen so many of my students have success with applying the strategies that I teach them in a demo account, and then once they trade with a real live money account, they don't have the same success. And really the biggest reason is their fear of losing money and assigning an emotion to when they make or lose money. Now, the easy solution is obviously to determine how much you are willing to lose before you trade. The second lesson is don't buy all at once. The only reason why Harouna was able to dig himself out of a 1 million euro loss was because he had access to a large capital base, or in this case, billions of dollars. Now, while we don't have access to billions, you can apply the same philosophy when you're trading. So instead of, let's just say, buying 1,000 shares of a stock all at once, split your order into smaller sizes like 100 shares and buy it bit by bit. The last lesson I want to share with you is focus on the trade rather than the money. So let me give you the scenario. Let's say you're currently down $10,000 in your day trading account due to some poor trading decisions. Now, this is obviously a decent amount of money, so you keep holding, right? Hoping that it will turn around. Well, let's just say then the loss suddenly becomes only $5,000. Well, do you sell for a loss at this point in time? Then it becomes a $1,000 loss. Well, do you sell at this point? Then you're now back to break even. Well, do you now sell? Well, maybe, because now you managed to turn a loss into a break-even trade for yourself. Well, what if the trade now makes you $1,000 or $5,000 or suddenly $10,000? When do you sell? So you can see from this example is how you are fixated on the loss or the profit, then it becomes a focus on the money rather than on the trade. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to watch other videos, please click on the left for more videos like this and click on the right for the full playlist. I'll see you on the next video.